Hello, and welcome to Back to the Feature with Evan and Gabby. Double features, double takes. This is the podcast where we talk about two movies, one new, one older, what makes them a good pair, and how the history of films influences the present.
I'm Evan.
And I'm Gabby. And today we are discussing weapons and
Prisoners.
two films that take creepy basements and crawl spaces to a whole new level.
And they never came back. I don't know. I just wanted to get that in there somehow.
You did it.
Yeah, I think on paper we can consider that I did it.
Well, it being that you saw another horror film, Evan, I'm very proud of you.
And this one we didn't see together too. I saw it with my friends Raymond and Amanda. Raymond's a big they're both big horror people, but Ray is actually just finishing his first horror film. His horror feature, and I just got a chance to watch a version of it, and it's very good. Excited to talk about it when it gets out into the world. But yeah, I went to see it with them. I did the same thing. I have my earplugs and I have my hat, except they did make fun of me a little bit, as is their right, because it is very goofy. Yeah.
It's like a security blanket, though. Whatever helps you get through the movie.
Yeah, I will say too, like, we'll get into more weapons thoughts in a little bit. But when I left the movie, my left arm was so sore because it was so tense the whole time. And this happened in Together too, and I don't think we talked about it, but the day after Together, I slept funny, and I think combined with my body being so tense, my back and neck was like so messed up for such a long time, and I got just like actually sick during the process. So it's been a really challenging last few weeks. So I'm really glad that I didn't sleep funny this time around after being so tense watching Weapons.
No, you just have to sleep with the light on.
We were gonna get to that. All right, we'll talk about.
We will. But first, some movie news.
Yeah. So
Evan, I know you're dying to fill me in, because I have remained woefully ignorant about the Ice Cube version of War of the Worlds.
Yeah, this is a pretty wild movie. I've actually all I know about War of the Worlds has been stuff that has been forced upon me, and I'll take it. I welcome it. This is a new movie, I believe, from Amazon Prime, or at least on the Prime Video streaming service. It's another screen capture movie, like in the vein of like Searching. Or there's another one that I'm blanking on right now.
Missing. I think it's called Missing.
Missing, yeah. So it's like that, and it's basically the War of the Worlds, the story we know, alien invasion, but set kind of like more modern day, where Ice Cube is playing some type of like security, like NSA, CIA, like agent who is just kind of like surveilling people. This movie is very notable right now because it had 0% on Rotten Tomatoes for a very long time. As of the
new record.
As of the last couple of days, it's at 4%, I think, on the critic score. I did not look it up, only because I'm so astounded by the amount of. I was like, okay, how much of this bad movie can I just get fed to me algorithmically? And today I saw a highlight clip of some of the like best/worst moment, aka worst moments from the film. And there is literally a point where they're trying to transfer a code that Ice Cube can use to like send a signal out to stop something from happening. And one of the people that he's FaceTiming or Microsoft Teamsing is I think his son, and then it's his daughter and his daughter's boyfriend. And his son is like, "All right, Dad," because his son is also like a super hacker or whatever. He's like, all you gotta do is put the code on a thumb drive and take it to wherever. And Ice Cube goes, "I don't have a thumb drive." And they're like, "What do you mean you don't have a thumb drive? Don't you work at the NSA?" He's like, "Yeah, that's why. Like, this is like a high clearance government place, so we can't have thumb drives in here." And then the daughter's boyfriend and I'm gonna choose to believe this is the real movie. The daughter's boyfriend goes, wait, I can get you a thumb drive because I can use the Amazon drone because he's an Amazon worker.
No.
And he can also fly the drone. But here's where it gets even crazier. He said, I can't just send you the drone. You have to order it. So Ice Cube has to go and order a thumb drive on Amazon.com so that the worker can now pick up the thumb drive with the drone and fly it to where it needs to Ice Cube.
Put it on a thumb drive.
I don't have a thumb drive.
What do you mean you don't have a thumb drive?
Even I have a thumb drive.
Boy, this is a top secret military installation. They don't let thumb drives in the building.
Faith can load it here and I can get it to you.
How?
Prime Air.
Prime Air.
Oh, it's the future of delivery. They've been training us for months. I need you to place an official order on Amazon to activate the drone.
Nuts.
I need to now watch this movie so I can confirm that clip is 100% real. Because that
has to be real. That's like too product placey to not be
because
real.
The rest of it was not like, it was like with the other clips that I'm not discussing right now, like I know is like, oh, you can't like have faked that with AI or anything. Like those are the actors, like they're saying some pretty like outlandish stuff that feels like it's part of like why this movie is being received so poorly. But to top it off with just being pure like Amazon propaganda is just like next level, like wild. Our mutual friend Matt, whose studio we film in when we're in person, he loves watching bad movies with his wife Madison. I feel like this is like a candidate for like bad movie, like trash night, right?
This would be a high candidate for trash night.
Yeah,
I think we would need a lot of alcohol to get through that.
That might have to be. That's like a fun little like event, like just like be like, hey,
War of the Worlds.
Should we just put the microphone on and we'll just watch the movie and just upload it straight to the internet?
That can be the first thing that we do when we launch a Patreon.
Yeah, that I can't. Oh God, I feel like I need to watch the movie, but there's been so many other things that I want or need to watch. It's just I'm like I can't even like rationalize spending like an hour and a half watching this movie right now. I have no idea how long it is.
Not even for Ice Cube?
No. The whole time Evan. I'd just be asking, are we there yet? The ending of the movie? At the ending of the movie?
At the end of the world?
At the end of the world. Well, in lighter news, the Odyssey, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey has wrapped filming. Very exciting. If they were to for some reason miss that date that they have IMAX tickets out for now, that would be very funny.
I would be absolutely pissed.
But no, that's great. It's cool to hear that they finished filming. Tom Holland's obviously already filming Spider-Man: Brand New Day. So it's I can't wait to see what our first full trailer for it, which has got to be before Wicked
Christmas,
right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, it could be before Wicked. Or, I'm not sure does Universal have a big Christmas release coming this year?
Because Wicked is Thanksgiving, right?
Wicked is Thanksgiving.
End of November, for our non-US viewers.
Because I could see that happening and probably I'm hoping that we see something from a trailer before the end of the year for the mysterious next Jordan Peele project.
Oh, yeah.
And he usually favors a Christmas drop for trailers. So maybe we'll get two trailers for the holidays.
Wow. An extra special treat.
from our gods, Nolan and Peele.
Well, speaking of new movies, a trailer dropped for a movie that I hadn't heard of this week. That you watched,
You hadn't heard of this movie?
No.
Oh my God. Evan.
I truly had no idea.
Evan is referring to, of course, Netflix's upcoming Jay Kelly from Noah Baumbach. The trailer dropped this week. It's kind of a short trailer. And I did, for those listening and keeping track who are about to at me, I broke my rule that I was not allowed, that I usually only watch trailers in the theater because Jake Kelly is not going to be in very many theaters. It's a Netflix release. If I want to go see it in a theater, which I do, I'm probably going to have to go see it all the way at the Egyptian.
And it also they wouldn't show trailers for that type of release anyways.
No.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty brief trailer, and it kind of just establishes that it's a movie about a movie star or an aging movie star named Jake Kelly, played by George Clooney. It has a lot of Noah Baumbach regulars in it. Laura Dern, Adam Sandler, who is already garnering some awards buzz for this role.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
seems to
for Happy Gilmore 2.
Happy Gilmore 2 is not a movie, Evan. It's a series of YouTube compilations about golf featuring Bad Bunny and Travis Kelce, as far as I can tell.
And maybe Margaret Qualley in a 10-second role or something.
God, I forgot about her. Margaret, I want better for you. If you're listening, I want better. Keep working with the Coens.
Yeah.
Do that. Or Cohen,
singular, yeah. But that's exciting. I didn't know Laura Dern was in the movie, and Adam Sandler collaborated with Noah Baumbach in the Meyerowitz stories, which I quite liked when I saw it, actually. I think I wanted to love it, but I liked it a lot. Yeah,
I would say that it's minor Baumbach for me. It's not my favorite, but great performance by Adam Sandler, and I feel like Adam Sandler has been trying to prove his comedic chops now for not his comedic chops, his dramatic chops. He does not have to prove his comedy chops to me. A large believer in the film power of Billy Madison. And Big Daddy. Grew up on those movies. Forever will worship his feet for that. But no, he's always trying to prove his dramatic chops. And I think this is a really good case study for if he can pull it off. Mm-hmm. I think, Uncut Gems was his last big serious film. He had another Netflix movie in between then that seems like maybe he would get some traction for, but it was just a smaller release. Uncut Gems was the noisy one.
It was another sports one.
It was
right?
a basketball movie. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this, I think this is going to be a real test for his awards capabilities, and if any awards body is ever going to actually take him seriously, or just see him as the guy who made Jack and Jill, which unfortunately I have seen.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen, I think, a lot of Noah Baumbach stuff, like the classic, like Squid and the Whale. But also, he did direct Frances Ha, right? Yes, which, because it's
co-written with Greta.
Yes, and that is incredible. Obviously, Marriage Story, a really popular film on this podcast. We talk about it all the time. Could we have paired weapons with Marriage Story? We'll get into it. But and I also I remember liking While We're Young. Watching that and enjoying that with Adam Driver.
Another kind of minor Baumbach. But Baumbach has had this deal with Netflix now for a while. I feel like, and I mean, since Marriage Story, he's also done White Noise, which kind of flew under the radar. Mm-hmm. A movie I liked, but didn't seem to take off anywhere. I think he's clearly trying to make a bit of an awardsy comeback with this, just based on the cast and the subject matter. Hollywood does love movies about Hollywood, or actors love movies about actors, etc. And this looks to be a really meaty part for George Clooney as he comes back from Broadway.
Yeah.
Makes his big debut back to the cinema.
Yeah, I mean, he rapped Good Night and Good Luck. I had just watched the movie version of that this year, so it felt quite serendipitous that he was on Broadway. I was actually in New York at the time, and I was like, oh, maybe I should see this. And then I forgot theater is like prohibitively expensive.
So expensive.
So it was really cool to see the live stream version of it, even though I think me and the one person who commented on my Letterboxd review strongly believe that Clooney flubbed some lines. I watch the Ocean's movies like on repeat, and I love them so much, and I think he's great. So I'm very excited to see this movie when it comes out. A very nice surprise for me that I hadn't heard of. One final tidbit here, a movie that also surprised me because I didn't realize it was coming out so soon, or at least was finished so soon. Wuthering Heights, Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights. We talked about a little bit last week. We just heard some first reactions for this movie. They're mixed.
Shocking that they would be mixed.
Yeah. It seems like it's very sexual. It feels very much like in the Saltburn vein.
The word was orgy-tastic in the early review. Don't flub that line, Evan.
I'm really excited to see how my face looked during that, because I'll say a phrase that I hate saying, but when you said that was the word they used to describe it, I felt like I threw up in my mouth a little bit. I hate that. I hate that phrase that I just said, and I hate that phrase that you just said, because that is insane. I've never wanted, besides these horror movies, I've never wanted to watch a movie less. Holy cow.
I'm getting there really quickly with Miss Fennell. That just anything that she announces that she's doing, I'm like, okay, but what if you didn't?
Well, what if you didn't?
What if you did something else? What if you closed Final Draft? Just close it.
Yeah.
No, the reviews are very mixed, but I'll be interested to see if it changes a lot from the early viewings, because apparently this movie is coming out for Valentine's Day, which I did not know. I was thinking that it was going to come out probably later next year. I thought they were going to give it like a Saltburn window, just my own assumption, but no, it's coming out for Valentine's Day allegedly, and that is pretty soon.
Interesting. Well, I guess it's probably a better Valentine's Day movie than Madam Web, which is what
You take that back. You take that back, Evan. I am a noted Madam Web defender, and you know that.
I mean, I don't know if I knew that, actually, because I'm actually low-key a Madam Web defender too, but it's a bad Valentine's Day movie.
Okay, it's not a great date movie, but I had a good time. Alone.
Yeah, me too. I watched it a second time, though, and it's rough. That first time, beautiful.
Oh, it's so good.
Sublime.
Watch it with some rosé. You
Yeah.
will never have more fun at sitting at home watching a movie. No, let's start a campaign. Let's bring it back to theaters for Valentine's Day. I think we can do that.
Oh my god. I'm just like thinking about
double
Madam Web.
feature Madam Web and Wuthering Heights for Valentine's Day. Who says no?
Dakota Johnson says no.
The pictures of Jacob Elordi in this movie. I mean, I knew immediately when they cast Jacob Elordi, but I was like, they're trying to make this character hot. A character that is notably not hot.
Yeah.
Like, not conventionally attractive. And then there were some pictures released of him with just some, like, fuck-ass teeth.
I did not
just
see
like
those.
messed up costume teeth.
God.
Not necessarily period accurate, just like bad. And I was like, oh, so this is how you're planning on making Jacob Elordi a 6'6", very handsome man, quote unquote ugly.
Yeah, isn't this guy,
we'll see how that goes.
Isn't he supposed to be tiny in Wuthering Heights? I don't know. I feel like I've read the book, and like,
we've all read the book, but has Emerald Fennell read the book?
probably no.
We're
You know
gonna
what?
find out.
Emerald Fennell probably did what I did with Wuthering Heights, which is that I had it as my summer reading project between middle school and high school, and this set me on a slippery slope because I thought I could just bang out and read the book in a day, and then I read to the book from the library and was like, I am sorely mistaken, and I have never been so I was so stressed out finishing that summer reading project, and I don't really remember anything except the end of Wuthering Heights, which is maybe what Emerald Fennell also read too.
She skipped to the end.
Yeah,
she was like, you know what? I'm going to make this orgy-tastic.
On that note, let's talk about what it was like seeing Weapons in theaters. Did we both see this on Thursday? I forget.
Yes, we both saw this Thursday evening in LA, possibly at the very same theater, just at different times.
Were you also at the 16?
Yeah.
Wait, what? How come we didn't talk about this? And wait,
I don't know.
What time did you see it?
7:20.
Oh, that's right. Mine was right at 6. I listen, I gotta say, if you're looking at, all the different formats you can see something at AMC and you're like, should I pay a little bit extra for the XL? No, you shouldn't. But you know what? The XL has saved me every single time I've needed to see a hyped up release on opening night. There are always seats at prime after work hours in the XL. I got 3 tickets Monday night for Thursday night on the XL for me, Amanda, and Ray. And I was like, thank you, XL. However, Dolby and all the other ones like Prime Prime, packed to the brim.
I saw this. Yes, I saw this in an IMAX screening, absolutely packed, and it was not told to me, but heavily tipped that like you should see this with a packed audience, and I'm very glad that I did. Just purely for the reactions, for the vibe of it, just it was great.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to think. One of the early jump scares really got the person next to me to the point where they like, because I jumped too, but I think like they were like jumping, like the seat was moving, and I was like, I hope this isn't every time, and luckily, it wasn't every time. But we'll get into why that wasn't the case, so to speak. Yeah, but also again, very very packed. And the movie, it seems like it's doing really well too. So it's really cool to see that people were out for opening night, and people are seemingly continuing to be out. The cinema score on this movie is like an A-. It's like one of the highest rated horror movies this year, up there with Sinners. So it's really cool to see that like this is being received as well as it is.
And just to cap that, this is the right year for you to get into horror.
That's true. Well, and we can talk a little bit more about whether this is like a capital H horror movie too. I think I want to get into that, especially that kind of ties us to Prisoners as well a little bit. But before we do, some new trailers that came out before this movie. We got the trailer for Regretting You, a new Colleen Hoover adaptation. Colleen Hoover of last year's It Ends With Us, the big Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni movie. And bad press cycle. But this is another adaptation. One of her books is starring Alison Williams, Alison Williams, Dave Franco, McKenna Grace, and someone else who I don't know. This young man. Apologies to this man. But
this is a trailer that you had like texted me. Did you see this trailer? And I was like, no, what is this movie? And then the trailer started, and there was a guy in our theater that just said, oh, give me a break, like really loud.
I love that.
But I don't see the fuss. I think this looks like the film of the year. I can't wait to see it. I'm going to be there with a very tall glass of rosé. Tall.
Oh, the young man in the movie is Mason Thames, who just played the main character in How to Train Your Dragon live action adaptation.
Oh.
It's like, that's why he looks familiar.
What a year for him.
Yeah, what a year.
Also prominently, arguably a character in this trailer and in this movie, AMC Theaters.
Oh, that's right. It looked like
he like
the AMC in like New Jersey. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like a weird scene where the girl like jumps into his arms, and it's in the middle of an AMC, and I was like, oh my god.
McKenna Grace.
This movie was made for me.
She's kind of one of those young stars who's been around for a while. She was famously played like the young version of almost every blonde actress in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Was in Captain Marvel notably, and so classic kind of young actress trying to do pop stuff, trying to now transition from being a kid actor to slightly older, I guess, young adult, teenage, whatever. And Allison Williams, very similar Megan 2.0 energy in this trailer.
Very similar. She's gone from playing like distressed aunt to distressed mother.
Yeah.
And I love this pivot for her.
And Dave Franco exhibiting the same amount of acting chops that he exhibited in Together, I think.
Ooh, burn.
But
It'll
yeah,
be fine.
this will be an interesting movie too. And I think I'm glad that the movie's a little bit more upfront about the fact that it's like kind of sad and about something serious, as opposed to It Ends With Us, which like hid the fact that it was about domestic abuse.
Oh my God. That was some of the most egregious, like borderline unethical marketing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Especially with Blake being like, this is one for the girls. Go out and dress up.
They were like, come on out, dress up, dress in floral, drink your rosé. And then it was a movie about domestic violence. It was like, oh, okay. Okay, Blake.
So now we know this is a sad movie. So yeah, excited for us to watch this one, Gabby. And we'll see.
We have
talk
to
about
see
it
this
on the
one
pod.
together. It has to be.
Yeah.
And you were very unenthused, but also really wanted to talk about the new trailer for the movie Him.
Yeah, that's a
Speak on it, Evan.
I'm very curious if other people who are listening have thoughts about the movie Him. This is a Jordan Peele produced movie about a football player. It seems like very Whiplash-esque. Like, what lengths will you go for success? It seems like, this young football player enters this world and like things kind of go awry pretty quickly. Obviously, a lot of horror elements to this. The first trailer that came out was really, I've seen it a lot, so I'm kind of sick of it. I was also like, no interest in this movie. Even now, after watching these horror films like Together and Weapons, I'm like, still no interest in this movie. And they released a new trailer that seems like more like normal. Like, it seems like it's more like, hey guys, this is what the movie is, as opposed to trying to be this like kind of elevated type thing. So I have no idea what this movie is, and I don't know like what the buzz around this movie is. So I wonder, like, if they cut this new trailer to, like, get more, like, casual audiences interested because they knew that Weapons was going to be, like, a big deal. I don't know. Did you have any thoughts about this new trailer?
I mean, I think you're spot on with trying to get a bigger audience from the Weapons audiences, because something we know about horror fans is that they show up to theaters and they are hungry. Like, they want new horror movies all the time. So this comes out next month. So, I mean, it would be a natural kind of progression from Weapons into this movie. But the trailer, it just seemed to be trying to retrofit what seems like a very stylized thriller into the conventions of a normal trailer. Like, it almost felt like it was trying to be the Regretting You trailer. Like, this is what this movie is. Don't you want to see it?
Because I had friends that were like, the first
love
trailer felt more like a music video, which I think is like, I don't mean that like complimentary or like derogatory in any way. I was like, oh, it's interesting. Like, obviously trailer editing is like a real art, and it's become more of an art in the last couple of years. And like, there's times when the trailer is cut a certain way and it makes you think the movie's going to be a certain way, and it isn't, right? And so I wonder like how many elements of that first trailer, like the very artistic kind of like creativity they have with it, will be reflected in the way the movie is actually edited. That being said, there are lots of very striking imagery, maybe more like quote unquote artsy things.
Definitely.
So
they're still there. It's still in this trailer. It's just this trailer is working really hard to tell you that don't worry, there is a story here. Don't worry, it's also a sports movie. Don't worry, it's also kind of like a family drama.
And it feels like twice as long than the first one, which already was like a long trailer. There's something about September movies, man. That and Eternals and something else. But like those trailer movies get trailers forever. And once September rolls around, man, I'm going to be so happy that I'll never have to watch a trailer for Him ever again.
Wow.
Sorry.
Harsh words from Evan Yee.
A
trailer that
the Eternals
absolutely slapped. The Eternals trailer, I don't remember anything about it other than like Gemma Chan and Richard Madden having no chemistry in like a steamy
Yeah,
quote
and
unquote kiss.
Salma Hayek is sitting on her porch.
Oh, that I do remember. And they were too coward to make her a lesbian. And I blame Disney for that forever. Give me Salma Hayek rancher lesbian movie.
But yeah, bad trailer.
Speaking of a trailer that absolutely slapped and a movie that absolutely fucking slaps, let's talk about Weapons. Released August 9th, 2025, directed by and written by Zach Creggar, produced by Creggar, Roy Lee, Mira Yoon, J.D. Lifshitz, and Raphael Margulies.
Starring a pretty stacked cast here with Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Alden Ehrenreich, Benedict Wong, Austin Abrams, Amy Madigan, and Carrie Christopher. This film was originally going to have a much different cast.
Way different.
Yeah.
This could have been like the fourth Pedro Pascal movie of the summer.
Oh my god.
If all had gone to plan, it would have been like Materialists, Eddington, Fantastic Four, Weapons, like all in succession.
And he also had a very small film earlier this year. I think it was called like Weird Tales.
Freaky Tales.
Freaky Tales, yeah. So truly wild stuff.
It could have been that, but however, due to delays resulting from the WGA and SAG strikes, Pascal was replaced by Josh Brolin. Julia Garner replaced Renata Rensve, famous for Worst Person in the World, and later this year will star in Sentimental Value. Really looking forward to that one. Alden Ehrenreich replaced Tom Burke, and Benedict Wong replaced Brian Tyree Henry, which I thought would have been really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we'll get into some of those why that's interesting, I think, in a little bit, but just like general thoughts and feelings about Weapons. I guess also, if you haven't seen it, just really quick, Weapons is about at 2:17 in the morning, every kid from Miss Gandy's class disappeared. They walked out of their houses and no one has seen them again except for one kid named Alex. And it's just about what happens with this small town as they try to figure out where these kids have gone and the ways that it affects different people related to these kids. So, that being said, that's the plot summary. Gabby, what'd you think of Weapons?
I loved this movie. I was really taken with it. I mean, I was very into it from the trailers, like from the get-go. I was completely sold. I'm a very big fan of Creggar's last movie, Barbarian, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say you haven't seen.
I did read the Wikipedia summary, though, after
that's
watching
not
Weapons.
the same.
So,
no.
Keep going. Keep going.
So I knew a little bit going into this what to expect in terms of Creggar's style, his sense of humor, his sense of story, and kind of doing what we talked about a little bit on Together Pod, where he weaves genres together a bit. And you hinted at this a little bit earlier when you were like, is Weapons a capital H horror movie? And I don't think that it is, for the reason alone that my girlfriend who hates horror was able to not only sit through this whole movie next to me, but absolutely loved it. She was on the edge of her seat. She was laughing. She was like, I tried to cover her eyes and she like swatted my hand away. She was like, no, I want to see this. And
wait, are you telling me she's also not going to sleep turning on a little LED light? Come on.
No, she was much more affected by watching Prisoners than Weapons, which we can get into. But yeah, the Weapons just left me feeling like a complete kind of high from like what these kind of horror movies can be, especially in a time where I feel like we are constantly bombarded with like elevated horror after elevated horror after elevated horror. And I, for one, am quite sick of that. Just the trauma-induced kind of really overly stylized horror movie. There is a place for those, but we've just gotten so many of them over the past five years or more that this was just like a refreshing a glass of cold water on a hot day out here in the cinema desert.
Yeah. Interesting.
I
Yeah.
know, but that's not how you feel, though. So tell me, Evan, how does
Um,
weapons make you feel?
well, this is what I'll say. So obviously we've discussed that I'm not a big horror person, and leading up to the movie, I was very, very anxious about seeing the film because I had seen all these great reviews about how scary it was and all these things, and I knew Barbarian was like pretty scary and like quite divisive, and so I was like, oh, I don't know, like why it's divisive and all this stuff, but I was getting really anxious about seeing it, and I was like, oh my god, like this could like really like have an impact on me like in a bad way. And so I was expressing these anxieties to my friend Raymond, and he was like, well, if you're feeling this like nervous about it, like but you have to do this podcast, like quote unquote have to do this podcast, why don't you just read the Wikipedia summary? And that's where I was like, well, I wouldn't do that. Like if I'm gonna talk about a movie that I'm supposed to have watched, at the very least, I really want to have seen the film, even if I like have to close my eyes or tilt my hat down or watch with the earplugs or whatever. And so what I will say is that I'm very like thankful for this experience this kind of journey that we've gone on of like forcing me quote unquote to watch these movies, because I think it's really kind of like opened up my sensibilities, and also like I have a huge respect for this movie specifically too, because I think it's actually doing a lot of really interesting things, and it's just really great. You know, you're talking about like, you know, being in a cinema desert. It's like it's really great to see a director be so confident in the movie. You can feel that there is like Zach Creggar was like really propelling this thing in the way that he wants to do it, and it was like really, really impressive. So I like, you know, as we've kind of teased multiple times, I have been very scared by the movie. And sometimes I'll be like, oh, maybe I should just like check around the corner an extra time or something, right? But I left the movie being like, that was a really, really cool. Like, I really think this movie is like super cool, but I was really confused for a while. Like I was like, I just didn't understand a lot of stuff around the movie. Not from a plot perspective, but just some other things that I think we can get into. But the more I've thought about it, the more I've done a little bit of like reading and listening to some interviews. Like the more I'm starting to like kind of find my like relationship with this movie and like how I can understand it. And so I'm interested in talking about some more of those aspects of it. But yeah, I on the whole, I've really come into liking this movie a lot for sure.
Okay, that warms my heart a little bit, just because I know, but like you had texted me after the movie, not many thoughts, but just like didn't seem like you loved it, you know, like didn't seem like you were
Yeah.
as high on it as I am, and I was just interested to hear your thought process, but it seems like you've really come around.
Yeah. I'm definitely like from a right, like I really want to read the screenplay. I've heard some really I think there was a leak of the screenplay or something. But I've heard some really interesting things about it from people who have read it, and so now I'm like, oh man, I'd love to read this, because like there's so much that's going on when you're watching the movie for the first time, like structurally. Since we're still kind of like in the no spoiler territory, one thing I will say is that this movie follows a lot of different people's perspectives. It's like broken up into chapters in a certain sense. Zach Creggar himself like told the publicity team, was like, just describe it as Magnolia, like PTA's Magnolia, but with horror. You know, so we're jumping around different characters, and also like unseats us in time, because we don't know how far back we're going or like how far forward in some instances. Right. And so yeah, I really think that there's just so many cool things about this movie. And so you mentioned elevated horror before. Like this, I have two friends that I went to high school with that I grew up with named Matt and Wes. They're big horror people, and so we have this group chat, and I was telling them, oh guys, I just saw Weapons, like what did you guys think about it? And they're like, well, I feel like this is more of like a thriller with horror elements. So, and I was like, oh, okay, I can totally agree with that, because someone asked me like, oh, how scary is this movie, like where, and I was like, it's actually really scary in like the beginning and just like kind of at the end, but like honestly in the middle, like I was pretty bummed that I was like, well, I need to keep my earplugs in because I'm scared, but there are parts that I can't hear. And honestly, like, I'm not like that scared at the moment. Like, I could probably take off my earplugs, but I was like, I can't at this point. Like, I'm so in that I like, if it'll just be too loud, you know?
Right.
So, but where is that line for you? I think, Gabby, when it's something that is it elevated horror, or is it actually just something else with horror elements?
I think that elevated horror is when we are going into the territory of delving deep into some character trauma or, backstory using horror elements. That to me is when people use the term elevated horror, is when the horror is like being used to either literalize or somehow externalize a struggle that a character is having either in the present or usually in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me gets a little old. I mean, I think that there are amazing examples of that kind of storytelling. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have it, but I just think that it became a trend very recently. And this movie I thought was refreshing in the way that it is this, thriller with horror elements, because this was more propulsive to me. This was more in the present. This, not to say that there is not some kind of trauma in this movie. I mean, the trauma of like having a child go missing, I can't imagine, but just the fact that it was taking place all in like the present day, in the here and now. There were very few, like, there, if any, like flashbacks to a time other than what is specified in this movie. There's just, it's in the moment with you. It's keeping you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, and I think an interesting distinction too is that, like, when we're talking about horror and being used to like literalize something, right? Like the scary thing about this, right, is just like, it is just that. The metaphor of like losing someone is like not necessarily linked into the actual like what makes the thing scary or what makes the thing horror, in a sense. I had it like way more well articulated in my head, and when I just said that, I'm like, I'm not sure if that still makes sense, but like I feel like you're getting it there.
Well, I mean, I just think that what is so clever about this whole premise, and I mean, the simplicity of the premise is something that I really admire.
Yeah.
I feel like it is one of those kind of it will become one of those classic examples in like a screenwriting class where it's just like, well, bunch of kids go missing in the middle of the night willingly, and, they blame the teacher, or, they don't come back. What happens? That's a hook. That's like a really juicy, easy hook for a movie, and it feels effortless even when in the pitch of it.
I mean, when speaking to Sean Fennessy at The Big Picture, Zach Creggar said that that's where he started. He wrote the monologue that starts this movie about the kids going missing, and like things started to fall in place after that. Like, it's a really good example of like when you have a pitch that strong, like even from a creative perspective, like letting them, like, that's one of the few times where I understand, oh, that's what writers mean when they say the movies like write themselves. That you have this setting, this foundation, and it starts to actually reveals itself to you as you continue doing it.
Yeah, you spoke about how this movie feels really self-assured in its directing, and I think the same can be said about the writing, but I just want to admire for a moment how Creggar lets this script breathe. Like he just kind of, I believe when I heard that interview about how the movie, it was kind of unfolding itself for him as he was writing it, I believed him. I was like, okay, like, because it just feels like it flows, like there's nothing to like get caught up on, to get hung up on, to keep you stuck and be like, wait a second. And something else that I think is genius about both this and Prisoners as films is you don't need to build in more horror, really, if you don't want to. The horror of losing a child, Like I said, I can't imagine, but that is just like one of the scariest things that you can picture, whether you're a parent or not, is losing a child, somebody who's helpless, somebody, you know, that you are in charge of and protecting. And I mean, that can extend even to anybody in your life. You know, Creggar has spoken about writing this after losing a close friend of his, and, you know, feeling grief while writing this movie. And that is something that I think really comes through in specifically the parent characters in this movie, but also in Miss Gandy and Julia Garner's character of a teacher. You feel for her because she's not a parent, but she sees these kids every day, and she is just as impacted by losing them, and also by extension losing her stature in the community, losing her job, like just the domino effect that comes with this.
And she's someone who, like, her character has previously been disciplined for caring too much about the kids, for stepping outside of like personal boundaries, as far as like things like written on paper, right? Like a teacher shouldn't drive a kid home, but it seems like she drove a kid home because their parent was late,
missed the bus or something.
So I think hearing Creggar say that he was writing it to help process the grief around losing Trevor Moore, for his collaborator and friend from What Is Kids You Know, was really helped start to, for me, like, make more sense of the movie beyond just the plot perspective and like what is happening there. And I'll also tell you the thing that like got me like super hung up on the movie. I'm just, any other non-spoiler things that you would like to share?
No, I think to say more, we have to go full Spoilerville.
Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, Spoilerville. That's
Spoilerville,
right.
Population U.
Thank you for watching that graphic. Okay, yeah. So the thing that, you know, that really I got hung up on was just like the gun that was floating above the house. I was just like, and then I also like, I still don't understand why it's called weapons, like, at all. Like, I'm just like, I don't understand.
I mean, I think that the title itself is incredibly evocative. And I think that it is a little bit of trickery on the part of Creggar to call it something like weapons, to make it sound like something that it necessarily isn't. But that scene with the gun that you're talking about, I mean, I read that as very like Lynch, very David Lynch, very like, it happens in a dream sequence. And, you know, it just kind of, it does appear out of nowhere. And there aren't many mentions of weapons in the movie, other than that one line that Josh Brolin has, where it's like, oh, they're like heat-seeking missiles, like they're
weaponized.
Like weapons. Well, but I think that that's where it comes from. If I'm being if I'm being generous to the title and the decision to call it this, I do think that there is something to the idea of this being a weaponized movement, kind of, with these kids. Yeah.
I just like, because, okay, so this is it. This is, if you haven't tapped out now, this is the true spoiler, right?
Yeah,
so
get out now.
We have the character of Aunt Gladys, as it's revealed that she is some type of witch, or some type of magical being, or a person who can tap into magical powers that can control people, as long as she has something that belongs to them or part of their body. I just didn't understand when she was like, I thought your parents would keep me alive, Alex, but I'm still sick. But like, they are deteriorating, but they're still alive. And then she gets all these kids, but then she's like, we gotta go. I'm like, I was like, I think one of the best things about this movie is that it leaves you asking a lot of questions, but I'm also like, I want answers to the questions.
I know, but I think that what he chooses to answer and what he doesn't is fascinating and makes the movie all the more stronger.
Yeah.
To not tell us and I mean, I think that I probably would have gotten a little like eyes glazed over if we got a sequence in this movie that, showed us how Aunt Gladys does what she does, or why it works, or why it doesn't.
Sure.
I don't need to know. I don't need to know. All I need to know is that it's impacting the story in this way, and that it's impacting this kid, Alex Lily, in this way. I feel like, if we had gotten a long explanation, I would have been less invested.
And we also saw like how it works in the briefest sense, right? Of just like the when she's at Benedict Wong's house, Marcus's house.
Oh my God.
And she tore the hair, the ribbons around the thing, the blood. Man, that scene so unsettling. And then
harrowing sequence.
The headbutt thing, head smashing was crazy. I was like,
it went on for so long. It kept going. Like you were like, surely this is over now. Surely Benedict Wong has hurt himself at this point enough that he will be passed out. Nope.
Yeah. One thing that I like, just speaking about his character, because one thing that was interesting as we move from person to person, I felt like each chapter really showed how every character was like pretty fallible, including Alex to a certain degree. Like Julia Garner's character is like an alcoholic. Josh Brolin obviously lost his son, but he's like kind of messing up at work. He's like maybe not like the smartest dude like intuitionally. Maybe he's like a little book smart, but I don't know, like. And then Alden Ehrenreich, obviously, which I don't think we've even addressed, but like, I mean, everyone in the cast did a great job. But he's a cop, and he,
he looks good with the mustache. Like, good for him. He's literally fucking up on his wife.
And Alex, like, is like a kid, and he wants the best for his parents, but he's also like getting bullied at school. And I feel like part of him, once he's like, oh, I can, my read, I don't know if you felt this way, but I felt like Alex could feel like he could get back at some of these kids. That's
an interesting take.
It makes it easier for him to steal these things from the kids, even though he doesn't steal their personal belongings. But then, he still feeds them and stuff like that. I just am very fixated on the last line of the movie where it's like, and some of them even began to talk again, where I'm like, oh my God. Not that Alex is doing witch magic purposefully, but I'm like, what if he didn't break the spell on everybody?
I mean, that's Weapons 2 for you. But
yeah, Zach Creggar has teased that he has another idea in this world.
That
maybe not a direct sequel, but he has another idea in this world.
That would be interesting to me, but I didn't read it the same way that you read it. I do think that text is there if you want it.
Yeah.
Of him being bullied as like an added motivation. But I thought that the motivation of just him wanting Aunt Gladys out of his house was motivation enough. Like he wants to save his parents. Yeah, it is. I mean, he literally says it like, and if you get better, you'll go home, right? Like you'll leave. So he just wants her gone and his parents back, and who can blame him?
Yeah, I mean, she's creepy as hell.
She's so scary.
Didn't even know that was Amy Madigan. Love Amy Madigan in Field of Dreams. Love Amy Madigan in Streets of Fire. She's the fucking coolest in Streets of Fire.
She's the coolest in this movie, but they just make her look absolutely crazy.
I'm so scared of her.
She looks crazy, but in the best way. I mean, the first time that I think you alluded to this jump scare earlier. The first time that you really see her is pretty textbook jump scare, but also you don't see it coming. Like that it's coming, but you don't, and you don't know what it's gonna be.
Okay, so I have to say this, and I think I described this a little bit when I talked about weapons on The Break Room. I was fortunate enough to be on The Break Room again at my old stomping grounds. Got to talk about the movie with John Costa and Jessica Clemens. So if you haven't seen that already, go check that out. Obviously, if you're here, thank you for watching and everything. That jump scare, that Gladys jump scare, plus the second Gladys jump scare, I missed both of them. Because I was under your hat. Down. So I didn't know. I just knew something was there. And I had to ask Raymond later. And he was like, how did you miss both? Like, how much of the movie did you watch? I was like, I honestly felt like I watched like 95% of the movie, except those two key moments.
Stomach Gladys.
The first time I saw Gladys was when she is outside James, the unhoused person's tent. That was the first time I saw Gladys. So I felt like it was really random. So knowing that she pops up in those jump scares, because I already knew the kids had makeup in those scenes, but knowing that she physically is in those, I'm like, oh, okay, that's good to know. Also, I wanted to say this earlier, but with the jump scares, those feel impactful and like they have meaning. Whereas it feels like we got a trailer for Insidious, the next Insidious movie. Some of those jump scares feel like scares just for scares, right?
Oh yeah.
Whereas like these are like, no, like there is some psychic link that is happening that is telling everybody you can start putting it together, but you have to think about something really freaking crazy in order to get there, you know?
Yeah, I can't believe you missed the first Gladys.
I just thought it was going to be
it's
the
really
kid
one
again.
for the books. I did think it was going to be the kid too, and that's why it got me. Like I was prepared for it to be the kid in the makeup looking down at Julia Garner, and it was not. It was Gladys, and I was like, "Who the fuck is that?"
So is she in the bed? And Josh Brolin.
She's like hanging.
No,
she's in the bed.
For Josh Brolin.
For Josh Brolin,
we see
she's in the
Josh
bed.
Brolin's son, and then she's in the bed. So it's never Josh Brolin's kid with the makeup, right?
No. You know what it reminded me of, though? I couldn't not think about this, is that scene in the first Spider-Man where, like, Green Goblin is dressed up as an old woman and turns around and is then like,
yeah.
Like, I thought about that because, like, it's this really emotional, touching scene where Josh Brolin is trying to, like, say, like, oh, kind of like, I love you, son. Like, I miss you, and I'm sorry that I don't say I love you enough. And then it's like, bam, Gladys. Fuck.
Also, his son is like a little shit, too.
Yeah,
you know?
his son sucks. I mean, I know
that's
you want to get
another
your
reason
kid
why
back.
he kind of sucks, you know? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I know you want to get your kid back, but maybe not that one. Maybe trade him in.
Yeah, but man, I was so struck by Julia Garner in this movie. I've never seen her in anything else before, and I was just like,
really, not an Ozark head?
No, I haven't seen it, and now I will because I'm like, I get the hype. This is great.
That's a lie. You just saw her in Fantastic
She
Four.
was covered in chrome.
She was still there.
Yeah,
and
she was good in it. Yeah, shout out Shala Ball.
She was heralding Galactus. And in this movie, she was heralding alcoholism and witchcraft. Yeah. And I support that for her.
But she was I felt like everybody brought, and Brolin was great too. I think like, so I wanted to also like use this as a way to talk about the alternate casting, right? Like Josh Brolin is like such like a tough guy that I feel like casting Pedro is obviously great. I do think Pedro Pascal's very talented, and I think that they're probably also leading into like his portrayal of Joel in The Last of Us season 1, right?
Father figures.
I just don't know if it would have come across the same way. There's something about what Brolin's doing here that feels very like, just I don't know, like I don't know. These are like the suburban dads I grew up with in New Jersey. Like maybe yeah, you know, like. I think Pedro would have been more sympathetic though. I think he naturally.
Yeah, I agree with
kind
that.
of like, and that would have like, I don't like Brolin laying in the kid's bed is like a little funny at the beginning, and you're also like, oh, that's sad. But if it's Pedro Pascal, you're like, oh, that's sad. You know,
that's depressing. Yeah, I mean, I think that the cast really brings it in this movie. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a rewrite that happened after the whole cast kind of shifted. So maybe that character wasn't always the same. Mm-hmm. Maybe there were some tweaks made for Brolin, for Garner, etc. I want to shout out June Diane Raphael.
Her quick
for
appearances.
An absolute heater of a cameo, basically. Yeah. I want her in every movie. Not even just in the Donna form was like absolutely peak use of her.
I didn't even recognize her at first. I think it took her second or maybe third. I don't even know if she appears 3 times, but like I did not know that was her from the first when she runs into the gas station. The liquor store.
The store, and it's just so funny because she does like push Julia Garner down, but then she just like soaks her in vodka. It's like, all right, that's a new one. I haven't seen this before. But I thought that I wouldn't be surprised if there were some rewrites once the cast changed, but I think that this cast like made it so that I do think that they were so good that I can't really even imagine it with the alternate cast. Even though I really would have loved to see Brian Tyree Henry in the Benedict Wong role.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I can see that one trading pretty easily. I really think Benedict Wong was like so good at playing that kind of like, hey, I'm like trying to concede to you, but I've also got to like play it by the books. Like, I can see Brian Tyree Henry doing that pretty well as well, and then also him doing all the running and like fighting in the gap.
That
like,
would have been crazy.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, I think Tom Burke would have been great in the Alden Ehrenreich role. Also, Alden Ehrenreich doing his best to be really smarmy in this movie. Which I feel like he normally doesn't come across that way. He's kind of like...
Listen, as someone who just watched him in Ironheart, I think he can do it.
Okay. Haven't seen, but it's... Yeah. I think that this movie is incredibly effective, and the cast is a huge part of that. But another big part is definitely Creggar's direction. And I know you haven't seen Barbarian, but I do think that this movie feels like tonally, it's definitely in the same vein as Barbarian. Like, you can tell that this is made by the same person. But I think directionally, it's almost like two different people made this movie.
Really?
Just because I mean, I don't know if it's just a question of having like a much larger budget for this movie, or just, you know, having made his first movie already, so feeling more confident. But I felt like there was a really big jump in the confidence with which this movie is mounted.
Interesting. Okay, and it's also shot by Larkin Seipel, who shot Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think he brought a lot, like those Steadicam movements when they're in the dream sequences, like the way it moves. And there's this one shot I remember where it just like kind of like pushes in on Julia Garner, but then it like looks up at her, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think it would go there. And that's like, it ends in such an interesting way, and that's that kind of collaboration between, you know, director and DP, where they're like trying, you know, finding this world together and exploring it together. I think to kind of start putting a pin on weapons here, I think we also just have to talk about the ending, right? Like,
we do.
The wild, absolutely wild last 30 minutes.
I
Brolin punching
it.
Austin Abrams over and over again. Those freaking kids running around.
I loved every second of it. My theater was going absolutely wild.
Yeah.
Like, people were clapping, cheering. Like, we were going nuts when the kids were running through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was giving shades of one of my favorite movies, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Running through all the yards. And just like seeing them chase Gladys, seeing them chase like this woman who they I mean, have they even ever seen her? Like, I mean, at this, like, we're not given that answer either.
No, we don't know what they
we
know. We
have no idea what they know of her, if they know anything of her other than that they're trapped in this basement. We also, that's another thing that I'm kind of glad that the movie doesn't spoon feed to us like Campbell's soup, is like what the people in these catatonic states are feeling or seeing or experiencing. I'm kind of glad we don't know that. Again, I think you can get really in the weeds with like, oh, they can hear this, but they can't see that, or like the rules of it. And I think that not knowing makes it much more impactful to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a version of this where it was at least considered or suggested to do a chapter from one of the perspectives of the kids being weaponized or whatever, or one of the people who fall under her control, just to see that, like, what the, you know, from their POV once they're locked in like that.
Well, I mean, we kind of get that. We do kind of get that from the Benedict Wong character.
Oh, that's yeah.
But again,
but like
one
of the kids, I think, or
we don't get a catatonic person. But yeah, I want to say, I love this ending. I think that this ending is like triumphant in such an unexpected way. It is gory and bloody in a way that makes you want to cheer for more blood, more violence. And I'm a very nonviolent person, but I was like, yeah, you get him, kid. But I want to say that, yeah, that I still, if there's any reservation that I have with this movie, it is a little bit the witchcraft. It just is.
Sure.
I don't know why I can't quite get it through my head. I think that it's used effectively. I think that Alex being the one to kind of have to use the witchcraft that's been used against him and his family to get out of the situation and use against Gladys. The realization on Gladys's face when she realizes what Alex has done is absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
Incredible work from Madigan, but something about the explanation being a witch.
Yeah.
Still doesn't quite sit right with me. Maybe it would on a subsequent viewing. But I felt like I liked the lack of explanation, as I noted, but I think that just so clearly making her a witch
the
was a little too
explanation that
much.
you have is a little, I go back and forth on it.
I mean, I feel like it just could have been vaguer. Maybe if she had just been some kind of woman who knows how to do these things, or like, I think just so clearly making her like a witch that's using the younger, healthier
thing.
People. Yes.
Yeah.
I like that felt a little like, okay, I've seen this before. In a familiar way, not necessarily in a bad way, but that is my one real nit to pick with it. And I don't know, maybe over time I will come to love it as just part of the camp and part of the ride. But I do really think that this movie is going to be very successful in the future of how we view horror. As a movie-going audience. I think that this has the opportunity to be a real turning point for how audiences expect horror to be, or expect original horror to be at the very least. And I absolutely think that the image of the kids running is going to be a horror icon for the next, the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
Do you think that if I started going to the gym and running that way, that people would get the reference, or they would just think I'd be a freak?
In LA, yeah, they'd be scared as hell.
I'm just running towards you on a treadmill with my arms out.
I'm scared already. I'm shaking. One final note there on your kind of reservation. I think other people are probably in a very similar boat. My friends were saying that maybe they thought this was like an alien abduction movie with the kids disappearing. And I think that's an interesting way to look at it. I also think some of it is because it is so like relatively grounded. Like it feels so much more of just like this straight like drama for the first like hour or so. Just the way it's like photographs like this like small town. I feel like, minus obviously the big jump scares, that maybe that's kind of like where it's once the reveal is like it's a witch, then you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
I think maybe you're right. I mean, I think that part of the purpose is that Gladys should feel like kind of not of this world, but I think that that's purposeful. Like everything from her look, her makeup, her costuming, the way she speaks. She mentions that a character has consumption at some point.
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
God, that's
I'm
right.
like, girl,
I forgot about that.
When are you from, girl?
Yeah.
But I think you hit the nail on the head actually for me, which is that she just feels a little less grounded than the rest of the movie. And I think that is on purpose, but it just didn't sit quite right with me on this viewing. But I absolutely will be watching this movie again. So I'll I'll have to keep the people updated.
Yeah, definitely. Please do. Well, speaking of things that are quite grounded, that's a great segue to talk about Prisoners, our next movie that is a very interesting just thriller drama set in a small
Absolutely
town.
Harrowing.
Cannot wait to discuss this one because this was a lot. We'll be right back.
We'll be back.
Well, this is a great way to talk about this part of the podcast where we change our backgrounds. Gabby has already changed her backgrounds. I'm changing mine right now to a quite iconic part of the movie for me. We'll get into that in a little bit. But thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks again to the Break Room for having me on, for letting me talk about weapons, for also letting me use their internet when my internet died at home. I went in. I'd already been planning to go in that day, and so it was a nice thing to do. Thank you all for coming over, checking it out. Thanks for all the nice words. Go back and watch some of the older episodes, and also listen to the rest of this.
Catch up.
Listen to this. Listen to Prisoners.
Blockbuster summer.
Blockbuster summer indeed. All right. Well, let's get into this part.
Yeah, let's talk Prisoners. Speaking of movies with gruff fathers that drive pickup trucks and work vaguely in construction, we are talking about Prisoners.
That's right. Prisoners was released September 20th, 2013, directed by Denis Villeneuve, written by Aaron Guzikowski, produced by Broderick Johnson, Kira Davis, Andrew Kosov, and Adam Kolbrenner.
Cinematography by the GOAT, Sir Roger Deakins, starring Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis, Maria Bello, Terrence Howard, Melissa Leo, David Dutchmalshin, and Paul Dano.
Yeah, did not know anything about this movie besides that it was Denis. So when this cast started rolling out on screen, I was like, holy moly.
Oh, so you knew just from the cast. You were like, oh, I'm in for a ride.
I knew from the
first shot. Did you know anything
shot.
About the premise?
No,
Did you know
I knew
anything
nothing.
about the premise?
I didn't know anything until you were you were like, maybe we
you
should.
You just knew, but I was like, Prisoners.
Yeah, you were like, maybe we should because they're both about child abductions. I was like, oh, news to me.
Well, I'm so glad that I could do this for you.
Before we get into Prisoners, we have to talk about our box office bet, our box office battle. Will Weapons make more money than Prisoners? So we're recording this on a very interesting day. We're recording this Saturday night. Crazy Saturday. And the box office mojo has only totaled Weapons from Thursday, I believe Thursday through Friday so far. But right now it's at 18.2 million domestic and almost 30 million worldwide. That's really good for a movie like this. That's
it really
huge.
is. The estimate for the weekend, which we take with a grain of salt, could be north of 40 million, which would be crazy.
Is that how much Jurassic Park made is for opening weekend? Jurassic Park Rebirth made like 50, right? Let's look it up right now.
I feel like it made more because they released Jurassic on like a Wednesday and they did like the specialty box office
the funny
thing.
Math. Yeah. Okay. 145. Sorry.
I was like, that sounds a little low, but
yeah.
But yeah, this movie. Weapons is on track to make 40 million, if not north of 40 million this weekend alone, which is how much Barbarian made in its entire theatrical run.
Wow. And Barbarian was a little affected by COVID, I believe, right? 2021, 2022? No?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't know if it was, I just didn't know if it was a day and date.
I don't think so, because
Okay.
I went to see it when I was in grad school.
Okay.
And that was we were still masked, but we were allowed to see the movies.
Got it. I
think it is, yeah.
Yeah, Prisoners made 61 million domestic, 122 million worldwide. So 61 million domestic, it could do it. I think I think Weapons stands a pretty good job at beating Prisoners. Obviously, Prisoners, we'll get into it, but Prisoners is a little bit more of a straightforward kind of thriller, mystery, drama than Weapons. Obviously, it's got my friends from New Jersey going out to the movies, right? Like that's and not to quantify that in any way, but like they are horror heads and they will show up for that, I
can't wait to tell my sister, another huge horror head who lives in Jersey, to go see this movie, Weapons. I don't think she would take kindly to Prisoners.
Would she like Together? Would your sister like Together?
I think so. Yeah, she would like Together. But I think she would like Weapons more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think that it stands a pretty good chance of matching, if not beating, Prisoners.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be a huge accomplishment.
Huge.
It's only Zach Creggar's second movie. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he's working on a Resident Evil movie next, so...
Sure. Yes.
And allegedly he wrote a movie set in the DC universe, but has not talked to anyone about it at DC. He just decided to write one, which is very funny. I love that, personally.
I'm sure he will get a call from James Gunn, because James Gunn is very online. And I feel like if you just like it's like a bat signal for James Gunn. He'll be there.
Yeah.
He'll see it.
He'll see it. All right, so let's talk about Prisoners. Basically, if you, like me, did not know or do not know what this movie is about, two young girls go missing in this small town, and the families and the community kind of rally around trying to find these girls. The lead detective on the case, Detective Loki, played by Jake Gyllenhaal, starts to unravel a very interesting set of interconnected mysteries and events that as Hugh Jackman, who plays one of the girls' fathers, starts to take matters into his own hands, with the lead suspect Paul being Paul Dano's character. What is his
also
what is
named Alex?
Oh yeah, that's I was like, what is
another
it?
Alex?
But he's named Alex Jones, so
yeah, that's a little bit of a tough one. In the year of our Lord,
so
2025.
Gabby, what is your relationship with Prisoners?
Okay, I remember when this trailer dropped. And
Wow.
I do. I remember seeing the trailer and literally thinking, this movie looks sick. But like I thought that in my head, but I knew just based on the subject matter, I was like, this is going to be a tough sit. And it is. This movie is a tough sit. It's one of those movies that once you've seen it once, you don't really want to see it again.
Yeah.
It's like an anti-rewatchable.
I don't know if I wrote that on Letterboxd, but that was my exact reaction. I was like, this is a movie that I will be like, I love this movie. I will probably never watch it again.
No, I really, really like this movie. I think it's very effective, and I think it looks incredible. I think that the story is compelling, and, you know, like you said, even about weapons, it's very grounded. It feels real. And, you know, because of that feeling and putting the audience so squarely in the shoes of looking for these two little girls that, you know, the movie tells you pretty much right off the bat that like Paul Dano is a huge suspect, and Paul Dano's character gives you reason to believe that he is a suspect. He's not subtle. He's not doing a great job of being under the radar as not a suspect.
And he toes that, the writing of the character and his performance toes that line so well, of like, every time you think you as the audience might know something about him, or you think Hugh Jackman's got something on him, it really goes a different way. And it's just it was like, it
gets
the fact
you
that
every
it holds
time.
it so long, I was like, oh my god.
That first kind of, like, they interrogate him, they hold him, and then they release him because there's no evidence, like hard evidence that Alex is responsible or linked to these kidnappings. So they let him go, and, you know, Hugh Jackman goes rogue and, you know, kind of assaults him in the parking lot. And you almost feel bad. You almost feel bad for Alex for a split second. And then he has the balls, Evan, to say, they didn't scream until I left them.
They didn't cry.
And you're like,
they didn't cry, but yes.
They didn't cry. And I'm like, and then you're like, oh, fuck. Like, so he knows. Like,
but then when you know what his character knows, like, are you like, once you know the full story, are you like, is he saying that because he wants to be helpful? Or is he saying that because he is, like, sadistic? Because we do see both sides of that, in a sense. We see him being very malicious and violent towards a dog, which is an easy, like,
oh my God,
if you hurt animals,
red
you're
flag,
a bad person,
red flag.
right? But, like, he is extremely emotionally stunted from lots of traumatic experiences in his life. He has very low IQ, and it's like, if he still thinks he's a kid, I don't know. Maybe he was, like, trying to be like, I'm trying to comfort you, you know? But
that's generous of you. I don't think that that's the case. I mean, it could be, but I always, the two times that I've seen this movie, and probably the last that I've seen it, I have read it as he's almost like, to lead into Paul Dano's future role, he's doing riddles. He's riddling.
Yeah, it is so clear that they were like, we're like, we have to cast him as the Riddler because he can do this, you know, he can play.
I wrote that down while I was watching this. I was like, was this the role that clinched Paul Dano for the Riddler? Because I think there is something very childlike about the riddles that he is saying. But I'm not sure if he is, trying to be helpful necessarily until the very end.
Well, have you seen
when it's desperate times?
Have you seen Mother from Bong Joon-ho?
No.
So
I've seen Mother by Darren Aronofsky.
It's very different movies, and I haven't seen that one, and I can promise he's very different. But yeah, that I think watching Mother, like if we had covered Prisoners and we're like, what movie would you pair this with? I would pair it with Mother because it's a very similar type thing where a very quote unquote like dumb person is suspected of a very bad crime, and in the case of Mother, it's a murder. And the way the movie kind of like moves through, like you are constantly questioning. You're like, is this person actually just this like dumb, or what, or is their IQ that low? Like to me, when Hugh Jackman, and full spoilers for Prisoners here we go, when Hugh Jackman is torturing Alex, like I'm like, at some point he would have like he would break, you know. And I was like, the fact that it took so long, which it feels long in movie time, it is only like a day or two, but it is all he gets put through the ringer, man.
That one shot, like by the time that Viola Davis is brought into the fold and they show like his face, beaten face, like swollen, red, bloody, it's that any normal person would have broken. So I think that's what kind of tells you, if you don't know already, that this person is not all there. But then what the movie does well is kind of sneak in why. You know, like it doesn't outright ask you the question, why is Alex like this? But it does give you an answer later on. And I think that is something so clever about the script and the things that are baked into it at all these different twists and turns. Anticipating you as the viewer, but also these people, like, you know, these characters as real people.
I mean, one of we were saying like the groundedness and the real peopleness of it. I mean, some of the interactions that Jake Gyllenhaal has with like the police chief feels so like small town cop stuff, like and just like it's so wild that the way they like talk about these things. And then, oh man, I just lost the other one that I was gonna say, but it does feel it. This whole thing is just so well constructed. Like the way the labyrinth starts to reveal itself to you of
the maze, Evan.
The maze, right? We can use them in movie terminology. The maze starts to be revealed, and these like copycats or who's copycatting what or blah blah blah, like. Oh god.
Well,
there's three layers. There's it's three layers, right? It's the old married couple, which and the father is dead, and he's the OG.
Yes.
He's the OG kidnapper. Then there's the David Dastmalchian copycat. But because he's only doing it because he wants to like attention. Because he's like kind of messed up.
Because he's messed up because he was one of the kidnapped kids.
Oh, he was one of the kids. That's right. That's why he knows about the snakes.
He's like one of the kidnapped kids that I guess escaped. I don't think they freed him. I think he escaped. But that's another amazing reveal that first get to your third layer. Third layer is then revealed.
The third layer is just Alex, right? No.
Alex, but also in cahoots with his aunt, who was married to the OG guy.
And so there is a funny way. There's a funny thing in this movie. Not haha funny. Sorry. There's an interesting thing. In
this movie's a laugh riot.
Golden Globe Award for Best Comedy goes to not The Martian. Prisoners. There's a really interesting facet of this movie where Hugh Jackman becomes a suspect, right? And then also like his father potentially committed suicide or potentially was even killed.
He was
by
a
Hugh
security
Jackman.
guard, yeah.
Yeah. But there's mysteries around his death, which makes you think like, are we not seeing everything that Hugh Jackman is seeing? Like, it was his father related to some stuff in the past. Obviously, this is me overreading it, but the way that the movie like drops these little things for you, like, it's just such a like you said, just well crafted, well beated out like mystery, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that the biggest magic trick that this movie manages to pull off is similar to the magic trick of Weapons, which is that the kids are alive. Like that reveal in Weapons when the kids are in the basement and they're just standing there, the whole theater gasped.
Yeah.
And I mean, the reveal that one of the girls, at least, the daughter of Terrence Howard and Viola Davis in this movie, is alive and has escaped the capture is a genuine twist, because they keep telling you kind of like, okay, they've been gone for 6 days. We don't know if they are alive, if they have food, if they have water. Like, we're running out of time. And then
they have to ID the clothes that David Dastmalchian decides to take advantage of the situation and be like, I got these kids. You see, it's me. Which is like absolutely like, that's true psychotic behavior, to be like, I'm gonna like behavior. Fake this, you know? But
I'm gonna break into your home and steal your daughter's socks and put pig's blood on them.
Yeah.
Okay. But what other role could David Dastmalchian play? Like, it's so
talk about a late night with the devil.
But I think that the way that both of these movies pull that off, as not only movies where children are in danger, but where children are saved, where they are reunited with their families, but at what cost,
right? Yeah,
makes it all the more devastating and all the more impactful as a story.
So gotta talk about that last hour then in Prisoners, right? When Terrence Howard and Viola Davis's daughter is in the hospital, she looks at Hugh Jackman, she goes, you were there. I was like, wait, what? I was like, is he a suspect? Is he? And he peels off, and he
starts running. He books it down the hallway, and Jake Gyllenhaal's trying to find him.
Yeah.
And he can't.
You're kind of just like, what is going on? And then we realize that we are starting to put everything together. We're like, oh, okay, wild. Then fucking the aunt puts him down into the tunnel, which is insane. Jake Gyllenhaal shows up to be like, hey, we found Alex. And then he gets there in the nick of time but they have a quick shootout. He's bleeding from the head, and they're driving in the car, and the girl, you can see her, she's foaming, like there's stuff coming out of her mouth. I literally was like not standing up, but I was like going like on my couch, just like, oh fuck, like just like I was so locked, I was so scared. And then the aftermath, the girl's so drugged up and she's so sad that she can't see her dad.
So sad.
Oh god,
I know. It's really just devastating at every turn, but having the girls be found and ultimately at least physically okay or recovering. I mean, mentally, these girls will never be well again.
Yeah.
Much like in Weapons, it's implied that, some of these kids may still be catatonic, comatose kind of. They'll never be the same, but they are alive and they are reunited with their families. But at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, they're traumatized just the same way both David and Dastmalchian's character and Alex are traumatized, right?
Alex, who again, is revealed to be a victim as well.
Yeah.
The first victim
first kid,
of this couple. Like his aunt is not his aunt; she is his captor, and they're having some like a what do you call it?
I'm very confused.
I'm trying to think of the term Stockholm syndrome. They have a Stockholm syndrome like relationship where, it's unclear to us if he is just kind of brainwashed into thinking that he is Alex the whole time, or if he knows deep down from the beginning that he isn't, because he really only says, like, I'm not Alex, or my name is not Alex, until he's been tortured for multiple days. And then it's like, is it because he's away from her? Is it because he's away from, like, has she been drugging him this whole time too? What has she been doing to kind of keep him under her thumb? And I think that ultimate character reveal, another evil aunt, another link to weapons.
Yeah, holy cow.
It was more effective to me on the first watch.
Yeah.
I didn't remember a lot of the smaller twists in this movie. I did not remember the twist with Alex, or the Hugh Jackman subplots, but I did remember the reveal that Melissa Leo is the ultimate mind at the helm of the abductions. And I did think that worked better on the first viewing than the second viewing.
I think it just gets tough, because even I was like kind of like trying to rationalize it afterwards. I was like, okay, so they are upset that their kid died from cancer. So what they do is now they steal other kids so that parents can feel the same pain they felt, and they're waging a war against God. And so it was her husband leading the charge, and then she decided to just pick up the mantle. Feels a little like not totally there, to be honest. Like, it feels like,
yeah, like, I mean, she mentions that she had to slow down when her husband left, and I was like, what does that mean? Only one kid every once in a while, too? I mean, the movie doesn't tell us, but it does tell us that there have been dozens of these kids
and also,
that have gone missing.
Like, we don't know
what
Alex's
another question
role has
I have
been in it, too. You know, like, is Alex like,
is he complicit?
How complicit is he? And sorry, what was the question that you had?
Oh, my question, which just a big logic question for me, is how many kids have gone missing in this town?
It must just be
it's a small town.
Yeah.
Like, or it's implied to be like a small Pennsylvania town. And it seems like they've lived in this town forever. So I'm like, were they driving around in that creepy RV stealing, abducting kids from other areas? I'm like, I feel like it would have been a huge news story / they would have gotten found out a long, long time ago, like 30 years ago, if they had just kept stealing children from the same neighborhood.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. That's like why Alex is even parked outside of that house in the first place. That's his old house.
Yes.
I totally,
his old house.
Totally didn't even think about that until just now. That's wild.
But and I think the movie doesn't want you to. I think that this is another one of those brilliant movies where, like, looking back on it, you see all of the pieces, and it's just everything is there. And you're like, how did I not see this?
I mean,
how did Jake Gyllenhaal not see this?
Yeah, Detective Loki.
Totally
normal name.
Super normal, not at all a fake name. I would watch, speaking of it, like doing a sequel prequel of in the same world. I want the Detective Loki prequel, and I want to know why he has all those weird tattoos on his knuckles.
Yeah.
And I really just want to know the decision with the haircut, like the stylization of him in this, like, looking very gruff and tough in a small Pennsylvania town.
The kind of like long blinks,
I would watch.
Too.
Oh, the blink acting is out of control, off the charts in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Gyllenhaal guy. I think I most times I see him, I'm just like, he's great. I mean,
I'm always happy that he's here.
But yeah, I think this is like a classically, and I haven't seen all of Denis' movies, but like it does feel like Arrival follows a similar kind of arc there of just things that, like, everything is there for you, but it's kind of like that kind of revisiting, like on the look back, you're like, oh, I could put the pieces together, Sicario, similar, like the certain things in that. So
I don't know if you've seen Incendies, but that is a tremendously upsetting movie that follows that pattern as well. So it could just be something he's drawn to in scripts.
Yeah, this kind of like idea that he really knows how to like portray on screen.
It's sort of like puzzle box screenwriting.
Yes, yeah, 100%. Well, I mean, also, we mentioned at the beginning, this movie's beautifully shot by Roger Deakins. He, in an interview with American Cinematographer, I think he talks about this being a little bit more simplistic than other movies he'd been working on at the time. But I was just so struck by not only how, like, the visuals are obviously already like pretty great in general, just like really great atmospheric shots, really well utilizing all these things in this like town in Atlanta that's made to be Pennsylvania, but just how sharp it is. I don't know if you felt that way, but like a lot of these images are so sharp. I feel like right now we're moving back into a softer kind of look visually. I feel like Weapons is a little bit softer in general. I mean, utilizing a lot of hard lights, but the physical texture, like it opens up on that forest, and everything just feels so crisp.
Gosh.
And then there's that shot where it pushes into a tree, which apparently John from the break room was telling me that Denis really loves that shot where it's outside Terrence Howard's and Viola Davis's house, and it pushes in on that tree. And John's like, "Oh, I don't know about this shot. I don't get it." I'm just like, "I don't know. That tree looks good to me, and that's what I'm here for." And then just everything around, this scene that's behind me, right? The Chinese restaurant, like, aka this is just like a diner, a pancake diner that they found, and Denis was like, "As long as we put chopsticks and red chairs, it's a Chinese restaurant." Which is insane comment. But just that whole night exterior looks beautiful, and it's so harrowing. Like the whole movie is just like photographed so well, just adds to that. And same thing with Weapons too. Like that movie was super, super creepy, and the visuals only added to that, right? We talked about the Steadicam movements, but just the way, like, even when Austin Abrams, like as James, like enters that house, like the way we see those kids in there, and the production design on the house too is just like, oh god. All the stuff in Aunt Gladys's room too. Oh my god.
Ooh, the weird little tree, her little bonsai tree with the twigs that she keeps breaking in order to sick of people on Julia Garner.
Yeah. Oh god.
Yeah, I think the cinematography in both movies really lends a different a different tone, a different texture than would be from script or a performance alone.
Yeah. And everyone also in this movie, I mean, Hugh Jackman just doing it, He's just doing it. It really made me want to watch the Wolverine movies.
That's what you thought of? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, not that and not Greatest Showman, Or, well, the good Wolverine movie, like Logan and like Deadpool and Wolverine, or his portrayal in Deadpool Wolverine. I like him in that movie. The movie itself, I could go back and forth on, but yeah.
I refuse to watch it. Unless you make me someday for this podcast, but refuse.
We'll pair Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid to Deadpool and Wolverine.
Ooh, don't even say those words in my presence. But
yeah, this was a great pick,
tremendously upsetting double feature. I suggest if I were to pair these like back to back, maybe watch Prisoners first, and then Weapons is like your fun dessert,
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
Prisoners is like a heavy meal, like a hearty, heavy meal.
Yeah.
And Weapons is like a frothy dessert.
I mean, I don't even know if
in
you can
comparison
watch these movies in one day, because it's like they're both really long and they're both so much.
I feel pretty confident that I won't watch Prisoners again in my life, but
yeah,
just because it's so upsetting. But
maybe I would read the screenplay.
Great movie, great screenplay.
Yeah.
Speaking of other great movies and presumably great screenplays, let's talk about some other movies that we talked about pairing Weapons with. I thought of Rosemary's Baby for some demonic link, some demons, some witchcraft, and the makeup choice on Aunt Gladys in Weapons reminds me a lot of one of the characters in Rosemary's Baby.
Interesting. I mean, call me a baby because I haven't seen that movie.
Ooh, Evan.
But another movie, Magnolia, right? We talked about it earlier on, but just the multiple perspective. There are also there's a slight supernatural twist in Magnolia too, as well. Something that kind of like brings people together, but I haven't seen that movie in so long, so I'd love to rewatch it. Maybe pair it with One Battle After Another.
Perhaps. But I think when people are comparing Weapons to Magnolia, they mostly mean in terms of the storytelling, like the character by character structure of it, which some say Magnolia, I say Crazy Stupid Love, which I absolutely thought about pitching to you. just because like it's one of those movies where it was like patient zero for all those movies where the plots intersect in ways that you didn't see coming and all the characters are secretly threaded together somehow.
Interesting.
I mean, I've
seen that movie. I would love to rewatch it though, because I remember being so shocked at the twist at the end. Last week we mentioned the Naked Gun, or last episode we mentioned the Naked Gun, just because it had gun in the title. I think that would have been so fun, because it would have been a nice way to get our minds off of that. Also, the first Naked Gun movie also has some mind control aspects.
It sure does.
Right? So that's something.
Yes.
That's something.
They're trying to kill the Queen of England at Dodger Stadium.
Yes, it could have worked. Oh my God. Yes, and they're like, we must kill. Oh my God, that's right.
Must kill, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Some other movies that I had while we were thinking about this that I actually hadn't seen, but I feel like pair well with Prisoners, but I'd be curious if you think they pair well with Weapons, but like Zodiac or Seven.
Those are, I think those are better matches for Prisoners.
Okay, yeah.
And not just because Jake Gyllenhaal is on the case in Zodiac as well. It would have been interesting to pair it with Weapons. Zodiac is specifically is one of those movies for me that is so precise and so grounded and so real, and it is actually based on something obviously real, that it's gonna make me sound crazy, but it's a comfort movie for me. Like in a way that Prisoners never could be. I cannot rationalize for you why like Zodiac is comforting to me, but Prisoners is like, no, get this away. I put it to my girlfriend when we finished watching Prisoners, a Thanksgiving set movie. I was like, damn, this movie actually really made me want pie, but also to never eat anything again.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that's it for us today. If you're listening to us on audio, leave a review or comment. And don't forget to check out the video versions of these on YouTube at Back to the Future Pod. You can follow the podcast on Letterboxd at Back to the Pod, and on Instagram at Back to the Future Pod. We also have TikTok, where the clips that you see on Instagram are also going up there. So if you have TikTok, go check us out on there. We end every episode with a message from the Couch Creature. And this week's Couch Creature... and
I have him.
You have him. I have him too. No, I can't even look. I'm so scared. I can't. No, that was so scary. I was just gonna say it's this.
This
kid.
is my son, Evan. Look at him.
No.
Look at my son in the eyes.
Now I'm gonna have to go to sleep with the light on again. All right.
I'm so proud of you.
What does this kid say? What is Alex? Is this actually Alex?
I think so. Yeah, this is the other Alex Lilly. Great child performance by him. That's what I have to say.
We didn't really get into that, but he was really good.
Incredible.
What does Alex say? Alex says, let's hear from Alex himself. Alex, what do you say? I really love Campbell's soup for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's my favorite meal, and I love eating it, and I can't wait to share it with all my friends. Thanks, Alex. That was quite insightful. Thank you all so much for listening. Next week on next episode on the podcast, we are covering Freakier Friday. And
We sure are.
The Parent Trap, so a much lighter episode. Really excited to talk about The Parent Trap because...
one of my favorite movies of all time.
Wow, what a movie. Just truly some incredible
Cinematic
stuff.
classic.
I haven't
The Parent
seen
Trap.
Freakier Friday yet, but I'm excited to watch it.
We will discuss whether or not that is a cinematic classic. Tune in next time.
Tune in next time. We'll catch you later. Thanks. See ya.